It is a battle between man and nature here in Somerset. Every second, around 3 tons of water is being pumped into that river. And yet, just a few feet away, people are driving and living below that water level. This village is called Moorland, a bitter irony for the scores of people whose homes are underwater. The first floods came at Christmas. There's been little respite since. And last night, with a high tide and more rain, it was worse than ever. So the reinforcements were brought in. The 1st Marines from 40 Commando A Company mobilised from their base a few miles away in Taunton at around 5 yesterday evening. Extra pairs of hands working through the night to help Environment Agency staff try to hold back the waters.
The conditions are pretty bad, as you can probably see. The rain's sporadically been a lot harder. It's eased off a little bit. The banks that the guys are sandbagging are very muddy, but they're doing a great job.
A second team from 40 Commando joined them in the early hours, battling against the clock and the waters, trying to protect people's homes.
Last night we nearly got wet. The water was a centimetre from the wall, just a bit further down from my house here, and this means that tomorrow night, when they're forecasting all the rain, and Saturday, hopefully these sandbags might make the difference between our houses flooding and not.
The lads are quite happy to help out the Somerset community. They obviously support us when we're away on operations, and we've got rations and hot wets being brought out to them.
But there is only so much that sandbags can do. In places, the waters still came through. You can see just how deep the water has got here. At 2 o'clock this morning, some residents were woken by a knock on the door telling them that they had to get out. This water has come up around a metre in the last 24 hours. But there is reason to carry on trying to help protect this community, because as you come further up the road, there are still some properties that have not yet been submerged. The water, though, does still seem to be rising. And so Marines who'd worked through the night were still working at lunchtime today. Some here have been asking why it's taken so long for military help to arrive. But it's the Environment Agency that's in charge of flood defences and dealing with a crisis like this.
Who do you blame? I don't know. It's got to go back to the government. I don't think anyone's realised the severity of it down here, you know.
This afternoon, the man at the very top of the government came to see for himself the damage that the floodwaters have done in Somerset and the efforts to stop it getting worse.
The army coming in to help, whether it's helping with sandbags, which they've been doing over the last 24 hours, or looking to see whether temporary bridges can be put in place. Everything that can be done will be done, and I'll make sure that happens.
Military planners are working with civilian officials to see what more help they can give. With more rain on the way this weekend, the job is probably not finished yet. Well, I've been speaking to one of the Royal Marines involved in the efforts here, Corporal Tom Hunt, and I asked him what kind of scene greeted them when they arrived in the early hours of this morning.
Probably about ankle-deep water, extending up to the knee in places, and obviously I think the priority was damaged vegetation.
You already had colleagues who were here. They continue to work. How hard has everybody been working?
We've been working quite hard, just trying to move the sandbags quite quickly to create some kind of barrier. It's a bit of a race against time because with bad weather coming in, we don't know how much more severe the flooding is going to get.
There is only so much human beings can do. Some of the sandbags that were breached, people had to be taken out of the village. How frustrating is that?
Well, we haven't seen too much of that. We are here just basically to work with the other agencies, and we're just here at their disposal, really. And we're happy to help as Somerset, as a county and a community, has supported 40 Commando throughout Afghan tours, Iraq tours, and so we're more than happy to come and offer them support.
You talked about helping the community. You've been on standby for a week. What's it been like waiting for that call?
Well, we've just been continuing with our normal kind of training regime. moving into kind of like the contingency operations. Now we've moved on from Afghanistan, so this is basically just something we've had in our mind we might have to do, but we've just been cracking on as normal, just waiting to go if need be.
And what kind of response have you had from the local community when you got here?
I think they've been grateful. Obviously we're just trying to do our best, and I think they recognise that fact.